camp. Plus, back-to-back thunderstorms are expected across the Sierra Nevada and Valley foothills this weekend. I'll have all the details coming up in your forecast.
You're watching Fox 26, your hometown news connection. And now, Fox 26 News at 10 o'clock.
Good evening. I'm Christina Lopez. It is great to have you with us on a Saturday evening. We begin with new developments tonight in the North Valley. Merced police officers continue their investigation of a shooting that left one man dead. Officers say last night, just before 8:30, they responded to reports of a man who had been shot at the Grove Apartments off of South Parsons Avenue in Merced. They say when they arrived, they found a 41-year-old man who was shot and killed. Merced detectives are looking into what led to the shooting as they work to recover surveillance video from the area. If you have any information regarding this crime, contact the Merced Police Department. Fresno police need your help in finding a person responsible for vandalizing a building. Police say this happened on March 10th off of North 1st Street. That's right around the corner from the Fashion Fair Mall. If you have any information that could lead to identifying this person on your screen, contact Valley Crime Stoppers immediately. A man is behind bars tonight for falling asleep at a McDonald's. Madera Police Department say a 34-year-old man was found asleep with his foot on the pedal in a McDonald's drive-thru. Officers say the man was also under the influence. We're told the man was arrested and now faces charges of DUI. In the South Valley of Visalia, firefighters were seen battling a large brush fire this evening. Fire crews tell us they responded to reports about a fire in the area of Shannon Parkway and Conyer Street. That's near the Riverway Sports Park. Visalia Fire were assisted by other fire agencies, including Tulare County Fire as well as CAL FIRE. Fire officials say the fire has burned up to 20 acres so far. At this time, the cause of the fire remains unknown. Portions of a road were closed in South Fresno today after a hazmat fire broke out at a local business. Fresno Fire Department responded to reports of a fire at General Coatings Manufacturing near North Avenue and North Point Drive. Fire crews say when they arrived, they found a fire in a storage facility that belonged to the business. We're told flammable liquids were on fire. Fire crews quickly utilized a portable monitor to avoid any exposure. Central Coating uses a variety of hazardous materials due to the nature of processing metal and plating. The cause of the fire is unknown at this time. A commercial structure catches fire for the fourth time this year. Fresno Fire Department, along with CAL FIRE Ladder 87, says they responded to a commercial fire off of Southeast Avenue in Southeast Fresno. Fire crews say the building was vacant and fully engulfed in flames when they arrived. We're told firefighters did not enter the building for safety reasons. They also say the fire was so intense that it caused multiple spot fires. Fire crews report no one was injured. So far this year, Fresno Fire says they have responded to over 350 structure fires. Today, community members gathered in Central Fresno for the second annual Fresno Police Neighborhood Watch Block Party. The event took place at Pleasant Avenue and Fountain Way. Officers say this event is an opportunity to bring members of the community, housing authority, and police officers together to rejoice and celebrate the safety of the neighborhood. They say it's also a way for neighbors to get to know each other. This is the second time officers have hosted an event like this, with much more planned in the future. Switching gears, we are tracking valley weather. We do anticipate the heat to continue on. Thunderstorms will be expected across parts of Sierra Nevada and the valley foothills as well. We're also following a flood warning in effect, set to expire Tuesday morning just before 9:30. This will affect parts of Merced River as that snowmelt continues to rapidly melt. Right now in the Fresno area, 79 degrees. Wind is northwest at 13, humidity at 45%. And your almanac shows today's high 92, normal just below that, 84 degrees. We're not too far from that record, 102 set back in 1947. And we're taking a look at tomorrow's planner, a mixture of sunshine and clouds, 63 at 7 a.m. Lunchtime, nice and cool and comfortable at 83 degrees. And by 5 p.m., a little bit warmer, 94 degrees. Coming up, above average temperatures to linger, but for how long? Valley native and NFL pro athlete Jalen Johnson is honoring his hometown through his passion for football. How the tragic and sudden death of his close friend helped him find healing and comfort through Kevin's vision, offering football camps to those less fortunate in his community.
This is my home, this is my community.
Fresno native and Chicago Bears cornerback Jalen Johnson is giving back to his roots.
It makes me feel good. I've come out to Fresno all the time. I mean, this is my home.
The Central High alum returned to his hometown on Saturday for his annual Central Grizzly Football Camp, sponsored by the players' nonprofit organization, Kevin's Vision, held at Central High School. During the free event, students were given a swag bag with the words "No Love," as well as a complimentary lunch and Kona Ice.
Just love to see the kids happy doing what they need to be doing to take steps in the right path.
His advice for those wanting to follow in his footsteps is simple.
Pursue your passion, pursue what you have a heart for, and really just go after it. Don't waver from it, no matter when it gets hard or when things seem good, just keep going after what you want.
Johnson began Kevy's vision after losing his close friend Kevion Shrub to gun violence in 2021. According to Johnson, the nonprofit strives to empower and motivate the community while closing the gap to give back to those who are underprivileged.
Oh, he was my best friend, neighborhood friend growing up for sure. We played sports together against each other, went to high school together. Grew up, my mom was his mom was my mom, just things like that. So I mean, just after his death, wanted to continue to do something positive in his memory.
Johnson will speak at a local church tomorrow, sharing his testimony and the impact Kevy's vision has had on him and his community. The next event sponsored by Kevy's Vision will be held next month during the annual Grizzly Golf Classic. Love to see him giving back. Fox 26 News is your hometown news connection, and that means we're always looking for story ideas from you, our viewers. If you think you have something we should look into, let us know about it. Reach out to us through Facebook or Twitter, or send an email to newsdesk@kmph.com. Is Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein fit to continue to serve? That's the question many are asking, but regardless of her health status, the 89-year-old senator says she wants to keep working. We'll share why she's so determined to finish out her term. Plus, a look at a new wildfire detection system and how it's helping firefighters fight wildfires. And a 7-day ceasefire is in the works in Sudan. We'll share how this agreement came to be and who's backing it.
The Chuck Chansey Skycam, sponsored by Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino.
As we usher you to break, here is a live look at Fresno Yosemite International Airport on this clear and beautiful Saturday night. If you're traveling along this way, be safe. And if you're picking up anybody, give them a tight hug.
You're watching Fox 26, your hometown news connection. Fox 26 News at 10 o'clock will continue in a moment.
I did a Good Feet commercial about 4 years ago, and I thought maybe I should check in with you. Yeah, I'm still wearing my Good Feet arch supports. They give you the freedom to move without pain. I worry about how warm or cool to dress on trail, but I don't worry about my feet anymore. I put my arch supports in and forget about it. I'm Deidre Haven, and this is still my Good Feet story.
You too can get back out there with arch supports from the Good Feet store.
20 years in the making. Built on edge-of-your-seat excitement and fantastic fun, it's the event you've been waiting for. Chuck Chansey Gold's $1.5 million celebration. And you can win big every week. Like a chance to win $1 million or $1,000 in lucky kiosk cash. And everyone is going to want this. Celebrate 20 years of lucky winning at one spectacular celebration. Only at Chuck Chansey Gold Resort and Casino. Feel the fun.
When you experience a serious injury at work, it can change your life forever. Don't trust the insurance company to tell you what your injury is worth. At Barry Smith & Bartell, we are committed to making sure you can reclaim your life. Barry Smith & Bartell, bringing justice to injured workers.
The GMC Sierra with hands-free driving. Yeah, it rocks. Step up to GMC with 0.9% APR and no monthly payments for 90 days on Sierra light-duty models.
Come see us at your Fresno Buick GMC dealer.
Let's roll! The major champions lay everything on the line to be crowned the best.
Sunday on Fox 26.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Dr. Praveen Badiga of Badiga Family Allergy, Skin, and Immunology.
I'm an immunologist who takes care of your skin, improves your skin barrier so you don't get infiltrated, invaded by foreign particles. That's where my specialty lies, to breathe better and to live better.
The fight for more video and records involving Tyree Nichols' beating death by Memphis police wages on. A Tennessee judge is still blocking the release of about 20 additional hours of video, audio, and documents related to the 29-year-old's fatal arrest. The judge says he doesn't want any information to jeopardize a fair trial for the 5 Memphis officers facing charges. But he says the courts will release most records, but not before the defense and prosecutors are given an opportunity to review them first. The officers have pled not guilty to second-degree murder. The Secretary of State says the Sudanese Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces have agreed to a 7-day ceasefire. It's the first such agreement since the fighting broke out last month between the two factions. In a Twitter post, Secretary of State Antony Blinken said both sides signed the agreement, which will allow humanitarian groups to help war-torn Sudanese communities with medical attention and other needs. The ceasefire was negotiated by the United States and Saudi Arabia and goes into effect on Monday. The State Department says the agreement will be supported by U.S., Saudi, and international ceasefire monitoring mechanism in an effort to keep it intact. 2 California Democratic lawmakers are asking President Biden to again intervene in the case of a U.S. Navy officer jailed in Japan. The request comes in a letter from Senator Alex Padilla and Congressman Mike Levine, addressed to both Mr. Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. It asked the president to raise the case with Japan's prime minister during the current G7 summit. Lieutenant Rich Alcanis was sentenced to 3 years in a Japanese prison back in October of 2021 for negligent driving. The incident in May of that year resulted in the death of 2 people and injuries to a third. Alcanis had previously said he suffered from acute mountain sickness, causing him to lose consciousness when he was driving with his family from Mount Fuji. His argument, was rejected by a Japanese court with an appeal denied in July of 2022. New revelations about health complications suffered by Senator Dianne Feinstein are only adding to concerns about the 89-year-old Democrat. Many in her own party question whether she's physically and cognitively able to finish out her term. Her office confirms the long-serving senator had encephalitis and Ramsay-Hunt syndrome during a recent bout with shingles. However, as Brian Todd reports, the determined senator, with a history of grit and tenacity, is standing firm on her decision to keep working.
Senator Feinstein.
Senator Dianne Feinstein's positions on crucial committees like the Judiciary, Select Intelligence, and Appropriations panels remain intact, despite growing pressure for her to resign because of her declining health. A resoluteness that's been more than 4 decades in the making. November 27, 1978, the moment that catapulted Feinstein as a national political figure.
Both Mayor Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk have been shot and killed.
As leader of San Francisco's Board of Supervisors, Feinstein had to announce the assassinations of the city's mayor, George Moscone, and a popular fellow board member, Harvey Milk, at the hands of a disgruntled former board member. Her suit stained with Milk's blood after she'd tried to administer aid to him, a moment that changed the trajectory of Feinstein's own life.
She was actually thinking of stepping away from politics at that moment, but she ended up being elected mayor of San Francisco, and it vaulted her into that position.
She was San Francisco's first female mayor, a position she held for nearly a decade. Then another first. Feinstein and fellow Democrat Barbara Boxer were elected as California's first female senators. Feinstein proved crucial in getting an assault weapons ban passed in 1994. Years after that ban expired, she tried and failed to get it passed again after the Sandy Hook school massacre.
I was a mayor for 9 years. I walked in, I saw people shot. I've looked at bodies that have been shot with these weapons.
Feinstein became the first woman seated on the Senate Judiciary Committee. As the first woman to lead the Senate Intelligence Committee, many believe her crowning achievement was a 6,700-page report in 2014 on the CIA's role in torturing terror suspects. The subject of the movie The Report, Feinstein, played by Annette Bening.
Why do you need to do it 183 times?
More recently, Feinstein was criticized by fellow Democrats for praising Republican Senator Lindsey Graham's handling of the Judiciary Committee's 2020 confirmation hearings for conservative Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Feinstein remained tenacious through that, just as she is now with this controversy surrounding her health. The kind of grit, some say stubbornness, that's led to multiple accounts that Feinstein is demanding of her own staff.
She's very, very tough, a tough person to work for. I mean, also, again, this is a person who doesn't take vacations, whose whole life is devoted to work. I think people like that expect the same of the people who work for them.
The New York Times says concerns over Senator Feinstein's physical and cognitive abilities could damage her legacy. However, that may not matter in the short term if her presence can help Senate Democrats push through the nominations of progressive judges they'd like to put on the bench. Kentucky's Democratic governor has officially kicked off his campaign to stay in office and says he hopes to lead with, quote, love and compassion.
What do you hear from the other side? You hear people stoking fear and division. You hear people try to turn each other against each other. You hear this name calling. And if you want to wonder why we still see bullying with our kids, it's because some adults are showing them how to do it. I think that people are going to be able to see how we run and who talks about the future versus who talks about the other candidate.
Governor Andy Beshear launched his statewide campaign tour Friday in Bowling Green. He visited with customers at a local coffee shop on the downtown square, accompanied by Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman. They met with supporters and emphasized the importance of voting in the upcoming election. Beshear is running against Republican Daniel Cameron, who is currently Kentucky's Attorney General.
I'm Angela Brown in Washington, D.C. The opioid crisis killing Americans in record numbers, but harm reduction medication is not getting to patients. We'll tell you why next.
You're watching Fox 26, your hometown news connection. Fox 26 News at 10 o'clock will continue in a moment.
Why are more Americans dying so young?
A new study reveals that kids are dying at a higher rate.
And while life expectancy fell during the pandemic, the study shows that many of those deaths are preventable.
We'll take a look at what could be behind the bump in numbers and what could be done to reverse it Monday on Great Day.
The New Jersey Generals battle the Houston Gamblers.
Sunday on Fox 26.
When my rideshare driver hit another car, I was overwhelmed dealing with the insurance companies. Then I found the injury attorneys at BD&J. They took control of my case, and I finally got to focus on what mattered most: recovering.
The personal injury attorneys at BD&J have recovered over $1 billion for their clients. We work hard to get the money you deserve.
Thanks to the settlement they won for me, I can sleep easy again.
Call BD&J at 1-800-820-1111 today.
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, deep breaths and watch your speed. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So turn here.
Hurry in and save up to $200 on a set of 4 tires, plus get an extra $50 off with financing. Les Schwab Tires.
2024 Chevy Silverado HD with Duramax diesel. And the Chevy Silverado with powerful TurboMax engine. No matter what route you take, there's a Chevy truck to get you there. Find new roads. Get 1.9% financing on all 2023 Silverado 1500 LT TurboMax pickups. Plus, get a $4,000 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
The best burger in the Valley has to be Triangle Burgers, and you can taste the difference with 4 locations in Fresno and Seanville and Clovis, and in Tulare on Tulare Avenue off 99. Triangle Burger Retro Diner, always good times and a better burger.
The Allergy Report is sponsored by Budiga Family Allergy Skin Immunology.
Looking ahead until tomorrow's allergy report forecast shows a mixture of good and moderate air quality from Merced and Madera County's good air quality. Right here in Fresno, moderate levels. Kings County, you're seeing good air quality, and Tulare County and parts of Sequoia National Park, moderate air quality. Your allergy report tomorrow: pollen is in the moderate category. Mold remains low. Top allergens oak, privet, and olive also in the moderate category. Tomorrow's forecasted high in the Fresno area, 94 degrees. Sunny skies and clear throughout the day. Wind is northwest at 10 miles per hour. How much longer can we expect above average temperatures to linger? I'll have that answer still ahead in your 10-day forecast. Opioid overdose deaths are skyrocketing across the U.S., and yet one of the most effective treatments for addiction remains vastly underprescribed. Angela Brown joins us now for this report.
We are talking about addiction treatment medications like Suboxone. A study published in the New England Journal of Medicine found that between 2016 and 2019, only around 20% of patients with opioid use disorder actually filled prescriptions to treat their addiction. The opioid crisis is killing Americans at record numbers. Public health experts are now advocating for greater harm reduction policies to save lives.
Harm reduction is a set of priorities, principles, practices that seek to reduce the harm associated with using drugs, and policies that lessen the impact of communities impacted by drug use.
One of the most life-saving treatments, Suboxone. It works to reduce cravings and painful withdrawals. This study found Suboxone reduces the risk of an overdose by 50%. But not enough people get the medication.
It's estimated that only 20% of people that have opioid use disorder have prescriptions for opioid medication.
One major player, federal policy. Last year, Congress expanded access to buprenorphine, resulting in about 7% of clinicians being cleared to prescribe it to a limited number of patients.
Access increases when there's no restriction to prescribing, but still the legacy of having that restricted access is that clinicians are less likely to be trained.
Suboxone use also has stark demographic differences. One study analyzed 11 million addiction medication prescriptions filled between 2006 and 2020 and found 8.1% of patients were Black, 6.3% were Hispanic, and 84.1% were white.
You want to think about, equity. The system, it works for some people and it doesn't work for others quite as well.
The CDC says since the pandemic began, 13% of Americans had reported increasing or starting substance use as a way of coping with stress. In Washington, D.C., I'm Angela Brown.
Still to come, President Biden is meeting with world leaders at the G7 summit while keeping an eye on debt limit talks back in Washington. Hear President Biden's thoughts on the negotiations.
President Biden is overseas and consulting with other world leaders about threats from China, while some states here in the U.S. are taking matters into their own hands. I'm Scott Duman in Washington with how they're doing that coming up.
You're watching Fox 26, your hometown news connection. Fox 26 News at 10 o'clock will continue in a moment.
Wendy's $3 breakfast deal, it's the kind of breakfast that really sticks with you. Tyler, breakfast. Hey, buddy.
Your choice of breakfast croissant plus seasoned potatoes for just $3. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $3 breakfast deal.
All work and no play. Yeah, you know the rest of it. Meet Cindy and Mindy. Identical twins, only in appearance. Cindy loves chicken wings and cheering on the dog. Mindy loves music and dancing the two-step. Twins like this need their own sitcom. But DNA is the real character here. Dancing is in their genes. An epic night ×2. Yeah! Table Mountain Casino Resort.
Had enough? No, arthritis. Here, Aspirin Arthritis. Full prescription strength. Reduces inflammation. Thank the gods. Don't thank them too soon.
Kick pain in the Aspirin.
Trust AmeriGuard, private security professionals, ready, qualified, and trained to protect your home or business 24/7 with on-site emergency response when needed. Your safety and security is our priority. Remember, AmeriGuards it.
The Chevy RS family of SUVs has it all. Whether you want the 10.2-inch diagonal color touchscreen on Blazer or extra peace of mind with Chevy Safety Assist standard on the 2023 Chevy family of SUVs. So take your pick. The choice is yours. Head to your Central Valley Chevy dealers today for exciting Memorial Day offers all month long on the stylish Equinox. Get 1.9% financing on all 2023 Equinox models.
Life is uncertain. Everyday pressures can feel overwhelming. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. It's normal. With CalHope's free and secure mental health resources, it's easy to get the help you and your loved ones need when you need it the most. Call our warm line at 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org today.
When you call 800-LAW-3080, there's one thing that matters most, and that's you. The heavy hitters fight for you, and we win for you. Car wreck? Call the Curtis Legal Group. The heavy hitters.
1-800-LAW-3080.
President Biden and other world leaders are meeting right now to discuss some of the world's biggest threats, including China. Scott Thuman has been on the road recently to personally see some of those concerns, both inside and out of the U.S., and how America is reacting.
As President Biden engages in talks with key international counterparts at the G7 meetings in Japan, one of the top topics, China, amid its threats to invade Taiwan and spying on the U.S., like with that balloon incursion this spring. Before leaving on that trip, Biden questioned on if and when he'll personally press China to back down.
Can you speak with President Xi soon, sir?
That's my word, sooner now. We will be meeting.
Closer to home, though, worries can be seen in acreage.
You never thought you'd look out at this horizon and say that's Chinese owned out there?
No.
For full measure, we saw how Texas lawmakers are debating a possible ban on companies and representatives of China and other countries from buying agricultural and other land with vital resources.
I think it's wrong that any country that is an adversary of the United States should have the right to buy anything in the United States.
And in another full measure report, we detailed China's spending spree across Latin America, from subways in Colombia to ports at the Panama Canal. Is that a legitimate worry?
I think it's a legitimate worry decades from now. Geopolitically speaking, they're making moves, and the U.S. is not.
Separately, the Associated Press reporting a dozen poor countries from Pakistan to Kenya, which borrowed money from China, are in crisis because they can't keep up with the debt and high interest payments, causing layoffs, default, and potential political unrest. Back to that G7 summit. If the Chinese are worried about an international consensus against them, they're not showing it, reportedly sending warships close to Japan in the lead up to those meetings. On Capitol Hill, I'm Scott Thuman.
You can see more of Scott Thuman's full report on the controversy over those efforts in Texas to restrict who can buy certain property coming up tomorrow night on Full Measure right here on Fox 26. G7 leaders met today to discuss the global economy at the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment meeting, during which they reiterated their collective goal to raise $600 billion for infrastructure projects in developing countries. President Biden says the U.S. has already mobilized $30 billion through grants, federal financing, and private investments. But it's a small and still long ways away from the $200 billion he promised when the G7 summit launched the partnership last year.
Let's recommit to showing that democracies can deliver. Let me say it again. Democracies can deliver. We have to deliver to people around the world.
The partnership hopes to compete with China's Belt and Road Initiative, which has invested trillions of dollars into infrastructure projects in more than 100 countries. President Biden is in Japan, but with an eye on Washington. He says he's confident a deal can be reached with White House Republicans to avoid a debt default. Despite this, negotiations briefly broke down yesterday, with House Republicans and White House officials blaming one another of negotiating in bad faith. While speaking with Australia's Prime Minister, President Biden told reporters that he's not concerned about the state of the talks.
What happens is the first meetings weren't all that percussive. The second ones were. The third one was. And then what happens is the carriers go back to the principals and say, this is what we're thinking about. And then people put down new claims. I still believe we'll be able to avoid a default and we'll get something decent done.
President Biden says he is receiving regular updates from his debt ceiling negotiating team. The president is expected to reconvene with congressional leaders after he returns from Japan tomorrow. If the U.S. defaults, Congress won't get paid. That's what a bipartisan bill hopes to accomplish with the No Pay for Congress During Default or Shutdown Act. The legislation, introduced by a Democrat from Virginia and a Republican from Pennsylvania, comes amid growing fears of a default. While the president and congressional leaders negotiate, the rank and file in the House are dipping into their positions.
The House has passed the bill. The Senate has no bill. The Senate needs to pass the House's bill. The House is doing what the people want. Polls are overwhelmingly showing that the American people want cuts and reforms in exchange for a debt ceiling increase.
Let's pay our bills first, and then let's have a conversation about, what types of revenues and cuts that we need to make sure that we're stabilizing our budget.
Now, a deadline for an agreement is June 1st. The potential for a default grows as Congress, which is split evenly among party lines, works to hammer out a deal with President Biden. The Biden administration is proposing a new rule to prevent students from incurring crippling debt at for-profit colleges. It would also apply to certificate programs at nonprofit colleges as well. An earlier version of the rule was proposed under the Obama administration and later rescinded by the Trump administration in 2019. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona says the Biden administration's version will be the strongest yet. The department expects to release the final regulation by October. A public comment period would then follow. If successfully finalized by November 1st, the rules will go into effect in July of next year. A trade group that represents for-profit colleges criticized the proposed rule for excluding the majority of programs at nonprofit colleges. The group argues the proposed rule unfairly targets programs at career-oriented institutions. Closer to home, this weekend Hot Rod Coalition is back in Old Town Clovis celebrating the 3rd annual Old Town Mold-A-Rama. Organizers say this event showcases more than 600 cars from all over the West Coast. Today's event included the top 50 awards, music, hot rod vendors, and delicious food options. If you missed out on today's event, you're still in luck as tomorrow is the final day. To learn more about the event, head to our website, kmph.com.
There are newer recommendations for screening with breast cancer for younger women. I'm Liz Bonus. Why survivors say there are a few things we all should know about them. It is just ahead.
You're watching Fox 26, your hometown news connection. Fox 26 News at 10 o'clock will continue in a moment.
The GMC Sierra with hands-free driving. Yeah, it rocks. Step up to GMC with 0.9% APR and no monthly payments for 90 days on Sierra light-duty models.
Come see us at your Fresno Buick GMC dealer.
Hi, HR Mobile. Cal OSHA is on my property. What do I do?
Hi, HR Mobile. My employee handbook is out of date. Can you help?
Is your business ready for issues like these? Are you compliant with state and federal labor laws and Cal OSHA safety regulations? Call HR Mobile Services for human resources, safety compliance, COVID-19 procedures, employee handbooks, policies and procedures, and workers' compensation management. Be prepared and protected. HR Mobile Services, providing safe and compliant work environments for your business.
Chances are we've already met. But when we meet here, this is where our worlds will come together. Career Health is built for this moment in your life. We are courageous, resilient, ready. Health is our passion, and excellence is always our focus. Because when you come in here, our priority is to get you back out there.
Career Health, more than medicine, life.
Come and discover the awe of the Fresno Chaffee Zoo. Curiosity, wonder, and surprises unfold around every corner. Become a member and experience it all year long. Member benefits include unlimited admission, attraction discounts, and more. Extended spring hours from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Fresno Chaffee Zoo.
Get the Fox 26 News app now. Instant alerts the second news breaks. Watch Fox 26 News anywhere. Download the Fox 26 News app now.
New recommendations for breast cancer screenings have just been released by the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force. Medical reporter Liz Bonus explains what radiologists say we should know about them.
Hey there, hello to you. The task force is now recommending that all women get screened every other year starting at age 40. Prior to this, the recommendation from the screening task force was age 50.
The hope is that these newer guidelines will continue to save even more lives. Jenny Dermody says her breast cancer likely would not have been detected had she not had a regular screening mammogram. Her radiologist reviewed those images right away and found
she told me that they did see a mass and that I would need to have a biopsy. So that was done on November 15th, and I found out the next day that it was invasive lobular carcinoma.
That carcinoma able to be treated with radiation successfully, but Jenny said she'd likely have never known without this early form of detection that something was wrong.
It was just shocking because I have no risk factors other than being female. I have no family history.
Dr. Margaret Mulligan, a radiologist at Ohio's Tri-Health, says these newer guidelines may not be even aggressive enough.
The USPSTF currently is recommending biennial screening, so once every 2 years, but we are recommending annual screening.
Dr. Mulligan says if you have dense breast tissue, you may also need additional testing for early detection along with a mammogram.
Very dense breasts make reading a mammogram more difficult. You can imagine trying to see something through a snowstorm. If it's very snowy, it can be hard to see things. So for that reason, MRI and ultrasound is less limited by breast density. So those are good supplements to the screening mammogram.
Dr. Mulligan says in most cases, yearly mammograms are covered by your medical insurance plans. I'm medical reporter Liz Bonus. Now back to you.
Follow-up advanced testing in some states does need prior authorization for insurance payment. About 24 states now have laws that stop that requirement. There's a new call for schools and parents to teach young children life-saving skills. Leading heart health organizations, including the American Heart Association, say children as young as 4 can now learn how to call and dial 911 in a medical emergency. And by age 10 to 12, they should be able to administer CPR. In a statement, doctors say young children might not be strong enough to perform correct chest compressions, but they still can learn the basics on how to do it. They also urge parents to teach their young kids what 911 is, how to call it, and what their address is to direct emergency services to their home. According to the CDC, up to 90% of people who go into cardiac arrest outside the hospital die because the people around them don't always know how to help. Why are more and more Americans dying so young? A new study is revealing that kids are dying at a higher rate. And while life expectancy fell during the pandemic, the study shows many of those deaths are preventable. A look at what could be behind the bump in numbers and what can be done to reverse it. That's coming up Monday on Great Day right here on Fox 26. Fox 26 is your hometown news connection. Get news anytime 24/7 by visiting our website, kmph.com, or on the Fox 26 News app. Valley heat will persist throughout the weekend. Find out how much longer we could see above average temperatures continue.
Ashley's Memorial Day sale is going on now. Get up to 50% off Spotlight deals. Plus, pay 0% interest for 72 months with no minimum or down payment. And ask how to receive a $100 Visa prepaid card. Only at Ashley.
We use the highest quality cheese. 100% whole milk mozzarella, Monterey Jack, cheddar, Romano, and Parmesan. When your bakers have been up since early morning preparing dough, you can't just skimp on toppings. It's a better way to pizza.
This is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network imaginable? Let's invent that.
That's what we do here.
Quick survey. Who wants their internet to work pretty much everywhere?
Because we're busy women.
We don't have time for lag or buffering.
Get internet on the Xfinity 10G network for just $25 a month for 2 years with Wi-Fi equipment included.
And it needs to run smooth, like super smooth.
Hey, should you be drinking that?
It's decaf.
The next generation 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now.
The GMC Sierra with hands-free driving. Yeah, it rocks. Step up to GMC with 0.9% APR and no monthly payments for 90 days on Sierra light duty models. We are professional grade GMC.
Play Grand Moneyball at Eagle Mountain Casino and have a chance to win your share of $280,000 in cash and prizes. Every Thursday now through June 29th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., 50 qualified guests will have a chance to win their share. Must be a Legacy Reward member to play Grand Moneyball at the People's Casino, Eagle Mountain Casino, now just off Highway 65 in Porterville. Responsible gaming, 1-800-GAMBLER.
There's an issue affecting many children that I can't solve alone. It's called toxic stress. It builds up inside, increasing the risk for lasting health issues. Learn 4 things you can do to overcome toxic stress at first5california.com.
Ashley's Memorial Day mattress sale is going on now. Save $1,000 on select Sealy mattresses and get $100 instant savings on Ashley Sleep adjustable base sets. Plus, pay 0% interest for 72 months with no minimum or down payment. Only at Ashley.
The U.S. government issuing a final permit for a $3 billion wind transmission project. According to the Bureau of Land Management, the proposed 550-mile line would transport renewable energy from New Mexico to cities in Arizona and right here in California. They say the project will create more than 2,000 new jobs. Pattern Energy, the company in charge of the project, expects construction to start later this year and says it will take up to 3 years to complete. The projected economic impact, more than $20 billion. Mexico City's 2 main airports temporarily shut down today after a volcano erupted. The volcano is located 45 miles southeast of the country's capital. This week it rumbled to life again, belching out towering clouds of ash that forced 11 villages to cancel school sessions. The explosions from this morning were more intense, which caused Mexico City's Benito Juarez International Airport and the new Felipe Angeles Airport to suspend its operations. We're told volcanic ash is dangerous for aviation because of reduced visibility and because it can be seen as an abrasive which damages an aircraft's wings and fuselage. Wildfire season is almost here, and there's a new way you can help firefighters from anywhere. The University of San Diego and California fire agencies have partnered to launch a public website for those to watch live camera feeds across the state. The program is also helping firefighters fight fires. Ashley Serrano reports from La Jolla, California, to tell us more.
First responders use a live network of cameras statewide to track fires before, during, and after, giving them intel before sending any crews in. What's new is the public can track them too.
This would be an example of what a simulation would look like.
Alert California is a statewide network of over 1,000 cameras in a partnership between the University of California, San Diego, and multiple state agencies.
Here we put 2 cameras in the field. They're on these candy canes.
CAL FIRE, or the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, uses this data to fight fires.
These cameras on mountaintops that we can access, and so if we get a 911 call, someone reporting smoke, we can 1 click away just get on the computer and see if there is actually any smoke in the area. We can use multiple cameras to pinpoint the location and get a better location as well.
Last year, extreme drought contributed to around 7,500 fires. This year, an unusually wet winter caused flooding and record snowfall. The cameras helped first responders monitor those weather events too.
They convey to me that 5-6 years ago that they had to send a battalion out or an aircraft to confirm ignition. Now they can turn our cameras. They can immediately move the camera and image that area and confirm ignition.
First responders monitor the cameras from emergency command centers.
Fire department, what's the address of the emergency?
The high-definition cameras can view as far as 60 miles on a clear day and 120 miles on a clear night.
As soon as we get a report of a fire that comes in, our command center personnel, they'll jump on the camera, and from here we get live updates on, if there is a fire, how big it is, if we need to add more resources because of how much smoke we're seeing.
Those at home can access the feed by going to alertcalifornia.org. In La Jolla, California, Ashley Soriano, Fox News.
Tonight's weather is sponsored by Donald P. Dick.
If you've had enough of the valley heat, I'm sorry to say it will persist throughout the weekend. We will expect thunderstorms in Sierra Nevada and valley foothills as well. We're also tracking a flood warning in effect until Tuesday morning just before 9:30. This will affect parts of Merced River as well. Current conditions in Fresno, 79 degrees. Wind is northwest at 13 with humidity at 45%. The almanac in the Fresno area high today, that should say 94 degrees. Normal about 84. Record 102 set back in 1947. Your lows across the valley tonight mostly in the 50s and 60s. Right here in Fresno, 61. In the South Valley, Visalia and Porterville, 62 degrees. Lemoore 58, 57 in Madera, 56 in Merced. Later on this evening, 61 degrees right here in Fresno. Mostly clear skies, quiet overnight. Wind is northwest at 16 miles per hour. What can we expect tomorrow for our planner? 7 a.m. a mixture of sunshine and clouds, 63 degrees. By lunchtime, we jump up 20 degrees to 83, and by 5 p.m. plenty of sunshine, a bit warmer, 94 degrees. Also see a forecasted high in the Fresno area, 94 degrees. Sunny skies, clear throughout the day. Wind is northwest at 10 miles per hour. Your highs tomorrow across the valley, mostly in the mid-90s. You'll see 94 is the pattern that we're recognizing. 91 in Merced is the outlier. And of course, Paso Robles nice and cool at 85 degrees. Your mountain forecast shows a mixture of sunshine with dayside thunderstorms. Yosemite 83, Mariposa 84 tomorrow, Oakhurst 86, Shaver Lake 67, Grant Grove 68 with thunderstorms, Three Rivers nice and warm 91 with those thunderstorms continuing. Your 10-day forecast shows mostly 90s in the next 10 days or so. Overnight lows in the 60s and upper 50s. Breezy conditions will be with us Tuesday into Wednesday and again on Friday, but mostly sunny skies. We'd love to see that. We'll see a slight cool down by midweek, 87 degrees, 83 on Thursday, and then we'll taper down to 85 next Sunday. Plenty of sunshine will continue. Upper 80s will be the name of the game. NASA is choosing Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin to help land astronauts on the moon. The rocket company will develop a human landing system for the agency's Artemis 5 mission. Blue Origin received a $3.4 billion contract to lead a team to develop a lunar lander named Blue Moon. It will be used to take astronauts to the lunar surface as early as 2029.
Will only add to this golden age of human spaceflight. Our work with commercial and international partners is keeping people fixated on the stars.
NASA's Artemis program aims to return astronauts to the moon and eventually expand exploration to Mars. Jeff Bezos tweeted today he is honored to be on this journey with NASA. NASA has already chosen Elon Musk's SpaceX for the first and second human moon landings, the Artemis 3 and 4 missions. Still to come, we're taking a trip down memory lane as we remember a professional football Hall of Famer.
Let's roll! The major champions lay everything on the line to be crowned the best.
Sunday on Fox 26. Vanished without a trace. Between Las Vegas, Reno, and Fresno, it's been said that nearly 2,000 planes have disappeared. Much like the Bermuda Triangle, no one really knows how. Reporter Rich Rodriguez investigates the mystery of the Nevada Triangle. This Monday night on Fox 26 News at 10.
Non-drowsy Claritin D knocks out your worst allergy symptoms, including nasal congestion, without knocking you out. Feel the clarity and make today the most wonderful time of the year. Claritin D.
7-day-old tuna casserole.
How'd you know that?
Even my nose is strong. You need Hefty Ultra Strong. It has Arm & Hammer, continuous odor control. Hefty, Hefty, Hefty. Oh, and Toby needs a bath. Stay one step ahead of Stinky.
If you're at home right now and you're suffering from burning, tingling, or numb feet, you need to pay special attention to this next segment as we discuss neuropathy.
What is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is actually nerve damage to the feet,
in the legs primarily.
And what are the symptoms?
The major symptoms we see are numbness, burning, muscle cramps, problems with your balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It is absolutely treatable, and we can get some great results.
If you're experiencing burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands, or having balance issues, call today for your nerve damage screening. Your nerve damage screening will tell you if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our innovative treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe there is nothing that can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 25 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Act now and call to schedule your nerve damage screening. First 25 callers receive this screening for free.
Spotlight on America investigates EV infrastructure's future.
Spotlight on America, Monday on Fox 26 News at 10.
Vanessa Roma is taking a well-deserved night off, and I bring you the sports tonight. Brittany Griner is back on the court 5 months after being released from Russian imprisonment. The WNBA star scored 18 points last night for the Phoenix Mercury, but the team lost against the Los Angeles Sparks. Despite this, Griner says she is appreciating everything more now after her release. Griner was arrested last year at a Moscow airport on drug-related charges. She was detained for nearly 10 months, spending much of that time in prison. It was a mixed bag of emotions on the racetrack today. Bob Baffert's National Treasure crossed the finish line first in the 2023 Preakness Stakes. Dashing Kentucky Derby winners made his chances at a Triple Crown sweep. But Baffert's win comes just hours after the veteran trainer euthanized one of his other horses. The fatality adds to a growing number of racehorses that have died in recent weeks, 7 of which died in a 10-day span leading up to the Kentucky Derby. Jim Brown, one of the greatest professional football players of all time, has passed. Here's a look back on Brown's NFL career.
One of the most gifted athletes of all time, Jim Brown was as versatile as he was durable, and he was dominant. Born in Georgia in 1936, Brown grew up in Long Island and attended Syracuse, where he was a multi-sport star. In 1957, Cleveland took Brown 6th overall in the NFL draft, and over the next 9 seasons, all with the Browns, he would cement his status as one of the game's all-time legends. He made 9 Pro Bowls and led the NFL in rushing 8 times, winning 3 league MVP awards. He never missed a single game, an amazing feat given the toughness with which he ran. He won a championship in 1964 and is the only player to average more than 100 yards per game for a career. But the league's toughest player to tackle saw a life for himself after football, and he stunned the sports world when he left the game in 1966 at the height of his career. Brown chose to focus on acting, and he flourished in Hollywood, appearing in dozens of films and television shows over the course of more than 4 decades. In 1971, Brown was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. At the time of Brown's retirement at age 30, no other player in football history had run for more yards or scored more touchdowns. And to this day, his 12,312 total rushing yards is good for 9th all time.
The only thing I want in life is to make a contribution. I was born this way, and this is the way I am. I don't make claims of greatness in football. I'm just who I am, and that's it.
Finally, something good. A grandmother and her grandson have just completed an epic travel itinerary, and it only took them 7.5 years. Joy and Brad Ryan just completed their goal to visit all 63 national parks. My goodness. Officials with the National Park of American Samoa said they were, quote, grateful to be part of the pair's amazing story. Brad Ryan has been documenting the pair's travels on Instagram, calling the Samoa visit the best place to, quote, conclude this epic chapter of Grandma Joy's road trip. Ryan says his 93-year-old grandmother made history as the oldest living person to visit every U.S. national park. The Park Service honored the pair with certificates and a number of other gifts. The idea for the journey came after Grandma Joy told her grandson she'd regretted the few trips she had taken in her life up until then. Congratulations to them. Today, Cutler Orosi held their first Girls on the Run event. We're told these girls worked hard over the past 10 weeks to prepare for today's 5K run. In total, 55 girls ran during today's event. Organizers of the event say it originated in North Carolina, but the organization has expanded and has landed right here in the Central Valley. They are hoping to be able to continue events like this as a way to honor the girls and their accomplishments right here at home. Good job, girls, and remember your motto: inhale determination, exhale doubt. We'll be right back after the break.
You're watching Fox 26, your hometown news connection. Fox 26 News at 10 o'clock will continue in a moment.
At Monarch, we focus on keeping your AC working so that you can focus on enjoying life. And right now, you could schedule a cooling tune-up so that your AC is ready for the summer. Monarch Home Services. Keep home comfortable.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
It's Central Valley Honda dealers' race to save. Race in now for supercharged savings, like a $279 a month lease on Civic, boldly delivering up to 42 mpg, $279 a month on HRV, with loads of cargo space and available all-wheel drive, and $369 a month on Accord Hybrid, hitting up to 51 mpg. But you gotta get here fast. Our Race to Save event ends Memorial Day.
We do not have a homeless crisis. We have a poverty crisis, an addiction crisis, an abuse crisis. We have a my dad introduced me to meth at the age of 12 and I've been hooked on it ever since crisis. We have a I have been trafficked since I was 15 years old crisis. We have a I didn't choose this life crisis.
Chances are we've already met, but when we meet here, this is where our worlds will come together. Cahuilla Health is built for this moment in your life. We are courageous, resilient, ready. Health is our passion, and excellence is always our focus. Because when you come in here, our priority is to get you back out there.
Cahuilla Health, more than medicine, life.
Are you tired of hearing you'll need a cosigner or maybe next time? Well, not any longer. Onacar presents the No Score, No More Sales event. Some finance companies require a credit score to approve an auto loan, but not all of them and not always. Valley car buyers are getting approved, in some cases, regardless of their credit. At Onacar, we've helped thousands of Valley car buyers get into the car they really want at payments they can afford. Everybody deserves a chance. Get yours during No Score, No More. Onacar, home of the 500 down sales events, one location, Blackstone and Bullard, and at onacar.com.
It's the speed, it's the action, it's the fun. K1 Speed Indoor Go-Kart Racing in Clovis is behind the wheel excitement for the whole family, company team building, or a party room for special occasions. K1 Speed races every day with all new cars, all new lit track, and with a fully trained and supervised pit crew for your utmost safety. Jump in the driver's seat, go for the green, and grab the checkered flag for your championship victory. K1 Speed in the Sierra Vista Mall, Clovis.
At Monarch, we focus on keeping your AC working so that you can focus on enjoying life. And right now, you could schedule a cooling tune-up so that your AC is ready for the summer. Monarch Home Services. Keep home comfortable.
Breaking news happening right now. Fresno Fire is on the scene battling an apartment fire just west of Robinson Avenue. Fire crews say this is the fourth structure fire Fresno Fire has tackled today. No word yet on how the fire began or if there are any injuries at this time. We'll continue to monitor this fire and update on KMPH.com. Switching gears, here's one of the stars of Fox's The Big Saturday and Sunday shows, and now comedian Tyrus is coming to Clovis. The professional wrestler will be coming to Clovis on July 19th and 20th. Initially, there was only one show, but it sold out so fast, organizers added a second night. The event will be 2 hours long and will be at the Clovis Veterans Memorial District Auditorium. To learn more about this event or to get tickets, visit our website, kmph.com. Starbucks is changing a key ingredient of their cold drinks. The coffee chain is changing its ice cubes. That's right, replacing the current cubes with smaller, quote, nugget ice for their drinks. Not sure what that is exactly. Starbucks says the new ice is made with machines that use less water, and the company has a goal of cutting its water usage in half by the year 2030. Still, customers should know that the nuggets do not melt any faster, and baristas are using the same ice scoop, so customers should not expect less ice in their drinks. This small change is a big deal for the company since iced handcrafted beverages account for about 75% of sales at Starbucks, especially now heading into those summer months. And finally tonight, it's a sauce lover's dream come true. Kraft Heinz has created this prototype